You know, there's this narrative, as you said, that modeling is about, if you want to wear that crown, you have to engage in sexual activity.
Right.
But then, is it really based on sexual activity?
Well, for the 3 times that I've won, I would say it's been based on merit, hard work. Hard work is something you cannot take away from your participation in pageantry, because it's a competition. You're competing with girls who have experience, you're competing with girls who have the money, girls who have the brains, the beauty. So to really be a standout, you have to embody that title. So every lady should really work hard to be independent. Of course, still give room for people to support you where necessary.
Still on the dressing aspect of the lady, do you think it's related to most rape cases?
It's based on individuality. Like someone once said that there are no good or bad persons, right? It's all about choices, good or bad choices. And I could be dressed in a corporate wear and I'm heading somewhere, and then someone is making silly comments at me. So it's not necessarily because of what I wore. It's because of the person's mindset.
Like women supporting women. Then when they don't support each other, it leads to now women, they do women.
Yeah.
So do you think we actually support ourselves very well?
There's so many people telling you, okay, we want a female leader, we want this. But how many of the women would be willing to support a woman who has come out for such positions? None. So even if you see, even if when there's competence there, you see that young women still find 1 or 2 things to ensure that a woman doesn't just go on, that's it. Yes. And the boss had given a car to the lady for being the employee of the month. And I read the comments under that post on Instablog. We're entitled to our opinion, right? So majority of the comments were negative. And then people that were really bashing the lady and saying, is it really your boss, or there's something happening, okay, she's serving her boss the other way. We're women. And then somebody then said on that comment section that turn the tables around and let this car be given to a guy. You see how they worship the boss and say, oh yes, maybe the employer had done well, or the guy who had received the car did very well that previous month and he deserves it. So yes, majority of the problems that we're facing is actually caused by ourselves, women. A lady that even suffers with me while I'm broke, I will still dump her because I wouldn't even suffer with myself as a broke man. Yes, so the guy said that.
Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Bliss Hour. Today we have a very inspiring guest, someone who has proven to us that hard work really pays. She is not just a queen, but the Majestic Queen 2024, a queen with beauty and brains. Today she'll be talking to us about her life journey and a lady's charisma, how a girl is supposed to present herself out there. We'll go on a short break, and when we come back, we'll reveal our guest. Welcome back, guys, from that short break. Like I said, we have a very amazing and beautiful guest with us today. Please do us the honor of introducing yourself.
Hello everyone, thank you so much for having me. My name is Augustine. I am an event host, a women empowerment and leadership advocate, 3 times beauty title holder, currently the Majestic Queen, and the founder, Augustina stable.
Wow. Okay, so how does it feel to be crowned as the Majestic Queen 2024?
When you look at the title Majestic, right, it screams of someone who has power within, someone who carries that aura, that wants to do impact, and also aligning with the vision of the organization, which is women empowerment. So it's about unleashing the power within women, young women, and giving them the platform to do great things. And it's been 7 months since my crowning. So I have an opportunity to do things here in Port Harcourt City, but virtually, using social media platforms to do that. And also attending various events in Port Harcourt. So yeah, just to spill a little, I'll be a guest this month in Akwa Ibom State, still using this office. Yeah, so it feels
I must say you're really powerful with your crown. Okay, so what does modeling or pageantry means to you? What does it mean to be a model?
For me, I think it's about changing the narrative that has been ongoing, because I really struggled with being in this space for a long time. I mean, after secondary school, I spoke with my mom that I wanted to go into modeling, and she fought against that. Yeah.
Okay.
So we talked about it several times. So I had to sneak, and then I was doing that after school. I'd go online, I'd browse various agencies that I wanted to be part of. So one day we had a conversation, and I got to understand why she didn't want me to actually go into modeling, which of course, you know, the popular narrative.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had to go on a pledge that whatever I'm doing in this industry was going to be on, you know, the good side. I was going to do good things. And I think for over 4 years, since 2019, for more than 4 years now, yes, since 2019, I have been able to live up to that. Yes. So when I started modeling, I was kind of misled. I wanted to do modeling as a runway model. Yeah, but then I had a communication with someone who was my senior colleague back then in secondary school. And then she had linked me up with the organization. She won their pageant sometime in 2018. So I didn't really understand what that was, and then I just went on, and because she was wearing the face of that organization, then yeah, I thought maybe it was about facial modeling. So I joined, and then I had to contest. So my indulgence in the modeling space was not basically as a model, but because I wanted to go into pageantry. Unknowingly, that was what I was doing. And then I went, and very funny, I didn't even place top 15. And yes, that used to make me laugh looking back at it, because I know that I did cry on that. Yeah, I really wanted to win that pageant after I got to know what it was like. But then that was like my first attempt in the pageant space. And then I learned so much about it. And the next year, after so much fights with myself, you know, the thoughts of failures and what it makes you do, and then I went back and I just had to do good. So that was my first crown I won in 2020.
Oh,
yes.
really nice. You're really ambitious, I would say. But if you ask me, I won't really blame your mom actually for stopping you for going into the modeling and stuff. Because, you know, there's this narrative, as you said, that modeling is about, if you want to wear that crown, you have to engage in sexual activity.
Right.
But then, is it really based on sexual activity, or just because it's based on merit?
It's based on merit. I mean, speaking from a personal experience, and for the third time that or for the 3 times that I've won, I would say it's been based on merit. Hard work is something you cannot take away from your participation in pageantry, because it's a competition. You're competing with girls who have experience, you're competing with girls who have the money, girls who have the brains, the beauty. So to really be a standout, you have to embody that title, you get? Yes, you have to turn up in all round. So yes, there are brands who are out there doing the negative things, but it's very advisable that every young girl who wants to, or even guys, because we have pageant brands too who are functioning for the guys. So anyone who wants to go into the pageant space has to do a proper research on what pageantry is about, learn about the organization's values, their mission statement, their vision statement, and take a look at the past lives of the lives of the past queens. What have they been doing, before, after their reign, and during their reign? What was life like for them? You know, some of them can even deceive you if you're chatting with them. Okay, did they really pay you your prizes? The stuff happened like this during your reign. They might want to talk you into, participating in the pageant, but you have to ensure that you do a proper research, and then you go for it. Yeah.
All right. So as a host that you are, talking about Augustina Stable to be precise, what really inspired you to come up with a show like this?
It was one time when I went to Lagos bus stop here in Port Harcourt City, and then the vehicle we entered, this guy, he was not in uniform though, but he said he was an armed person, and then he was trying to bully this lady that sat with me. She sat next to me though. I never knew her, just that first experience. And I think he wanted to sit at that edge of the door as well. So she said she wouldn't come down for him to come in. And then they started making it a big deal. And I felt like I was oppressed. I felt like I was that young lady who needed to have spoken up, I saw her fighting so much for that thing, and she held her ground. She was standing on business, and it really did speak to me. And I said, okay, you know what? I want to really show young women that there's more to being feminine. Yes. And then I got enrolled in a public speaking academy. It's all about coaching young women and preparing for my journey back then to MBGN in 2021.
Okay.
I then discovered more about myself. So that was basically my road to self-discovery that birthed women empowerment and leadership advocacy.
Okay.
And then from there, I started my show, Augustina Stable. Said, okay, we can use social media for the good. So let's connect, let's inspire young women. And God being so kind and with consistency over the years, I've been able to do more than, what I can say in a short period of time.
Yeah.
I've connected with speakers over Africa, having speakers from a different continent as well join us to, do powerful things online. And then we've also had outreach in Port Harcourt, and this year we've traveled to various states to using the pageant space to do empowerment. Yes,
it's a really nice show, I must say.
Thank you.
I love what you're doing.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so talking about charisma, what does it actually mean?
Charisma has various definitions, but personalizing it, I'd like to use this acronym to really body this word. So it is confidence, humility, authenticity, resilience, inspiring, sincerity, M, magnetism, and A, I'd like to borrow the word again, authentic. Yes, because you have to be original. You have to be humble. People have to see you, connect with you for who you are, the way you carry yourself. That's where confidence comes in. So if you're unable to put all of these attributes to play, I think you would not be able to shine as a young lady or as an individual per se. So you need to wear these various attributes to talk about who you are. And when, like you see the word, each of those words displayed here, like I said, when you are able to be confident, you also are authentic. You strive in your own space. You wear your attributes that connects people, draw people closer to you without even trying so much. And then you're humble. I mean, a leader must be humble.
Yeah.
A leader must inspire people too. So when you are able to body all of these attributes, it draws people closer to you. And that's what a woman with charisma does. Yeah.
So, like you said, you have to be original. So how is it possible, or how can a lady be original? How is she supposed to present herself out there to the world?
So it first stems from self-discovery, knowing who you are. When you know who you are, you know your worth, you know your power, you know the value that you can give to a place. And then you can rule in your domain because you're being original, you're being authentic. You're not trying to be somebody else. Whether the way you speak, the way you carry yourself, when we try to emulate other people and we want to be wannabes, we forget who we are, our true identity, and then we end up living someone else's life. And like they say, time is not ours, and the time we spend on earth, you want to make use of it to do something really impactful. So to be able to achieve such heights, you have to strive in your own place. That's your own domain. So you have to ensure that you're living according to your own destiny. Yes.
All right, let's go to the independent ladies. How does it feel to grow like an independent lady? What are those challenges you're likely to face being an independent lady?
I still need support. It's a beautiful thing for any individual to be independent, right? To make money for yourself, to have a life that just keeps you going. For me, it fills my heart because, I love to be busy. I love to do things. I love to make impact. So it gives me this sense of joy that I am doing something, not necessarily because I want society's modern day definition of feminism to come to play, but because I'm keeping myself busy. And like the Bible also describes that an idle mind is the devil's workshop. So yes, it's more linked to that. You have to, it's very important that you're independent. Anybody, whether as a man or as a woman, but as we're making this conversation about women, it's very important that we're independent beings, because we at some point we also have to be helpmates to to the people we find ourselves with. So you have to, and then of course there's so many pressures around it. Yes, you want to depend on people. At some point it brings insult, you know, it does so many other things. So every lady should really work hard to be independent. Of course, still give room for people to support you when necessary.
All right. So when we talk about girls being in a relationship and all that, or let's say they are not in a relationship, a girl dresses out, goes out to the public, and a guy comes to you and say, "You look so sexy, you look ravishing, you look so tempting." Does it sound like an insult to them, or is it an insult to a lady?
It shouldn't be an insult, but I think for people you really don't have bonds with, right? You should kind of keep the compliments modest. Yes, I look tempting. It's ringing a bell. Yeah, it's ringing a bell. It's like, I'm looking tempting. What? Like, I know that there's something there. Or maybe sometimes it may just be on a plain ground, right? There's nothing really attached to it, but 70% of the time you look tempting. There's something after that conversation, you know, understand. If you give room to it, then you definitely see that there was something there, and you know, yes, they make it happen. So I just hope that people can compliment people, but keeping it modest. Modest, and then that's basically it.
What about when a lady tries to make sexual advances to the opposite gender, or maybe goes to meet the opposite gender for a relationship? Will you consider it inappropriate or brave?
Are you setting me up? Okay, so Nigeria and Africa as a whole has always been ruling on this, you know, patriarchy kind of society. Yes, we have, we let men do certain things, right? And we feel like that's how it's supposed to be. But then there are young women out there who are taking brave steps to doing it. Some have tried it and it worked out that they're married to such men, you know. So there's really no textbooks that has this laid down rules. Yes. While I would like to call it bravery, there's some people who still would believe that, you know, it's inappropriate. But the truth is, never let people's definition of certain things, you know, stop you or limit you from doing something. As long as it's not leading to harassment, there's no sexual abuse or anything, you know, you're trying and you're shooting your shots, and you never can tell what it's.
So when she sees a man that she likes, she's very, how would I put it, she's free to go and meet the man.
She's free.
All right.
How do you think I'm wrong?
I don't know. People consider it as brave, but for me, I feel like the man should actually do it.
Everybody with their own opinion at the end of the day.
So coming still on the dressing aspect of the lady, do you think it's related to most rape cases?
It's based on individuality. Like someone once said that there are no good or bad persons, right? It's all about choices, good or bad choices. Now, thank goodness I didn't have any experience today. But then I could be dressed in a corporate wear and I'm heading somewhere, and then someone is making silly comments at me. So it's not necessarily because of what I wore. It's because of the person's mindset. So yes, this is where learning comes into play. You're creating sensitization, and you as an individual, you have to always educate yourself more, you know, unlearn certain things and say, okay, I want to keep the society healthy enough and safe for everybody. Yes, because it really do affect people more than we think or what meets the eyes. You know, some people may have even had certain cases like that those acts just stirs up PTSD. So yes, you might be psychologically traumatizing someone. So yeah.
So a lady with trauma, how is she supposed to maintain her self-worth? How is she supposed to be still original, especially when they go through rape cases?
The truth is, it's definitely not easy to come out of such. But yes, we have different pillars that can help us to overcome such. First off, you have to be able to find a confidant in someone, confide in people that are close to you. And of course, to every parent out there or every sibling that is watching, you have to ensure that you're being a strength and a pillar to those people who have gone through such cases, because it's really not easy. So instead of blaming those rape victims, you know, for such situations, you should encourage them more. Let them know that there's life after such events, and then help them to heal by the words you say, the kind of acts you show towards them. When you begin to discriminate them, and it puts them in a dark corner where they're not able to come out of their shell and then just relate to other people again. So you have to ensure that you're being that helpmate towards them, giving them such strength and courage to help them just keep going, regardless of whatever they must have faced. Yes, it's not easy. It's really not easy. Yeah.
What about the society? Do you think they put pressure on the lady based on her appearance and behavior?
Like my guest speaker once said, that women actually take blame for so many things. They're dragged for so many things.
Exactly.
So yes, society puts pressure on women, because if a man is wearing a singlet, for instance, and a short, and is on the streets, no lady would approach him and say, I mean, okay, let me correct that. There are just very few ladies, that may want to approach him and say, give him such vile comments and stuff. But the moment you see a lady, you could just wear what I'm wearing like this now, and then someone is still reaching out to me and calling me names. So yes, society does put pressure on women, and then they tell us to be all covered up, and even when you're still covered up, it's still not enough.
Your gown or skirt needs to be below your knee,
and even if you wear something that is very long, they still tell you which kind. They might even feel insulting with that.
Okay, so in a relationship between a man and a woman, is it okay for a lady to support her partner financially?
It's very okay. It's really very okay. I'd like to reference the Bible here again. Now, the Bible describes women as helpmates, while giving the man the job or the task of providing for his family. But at the end of the day, I feel like it takes so much sensitization on both individuals to understand. Yes, there are guys who would really want you to just relax, and then they want to take care of you because they feel that's their responsibility, while you should just do the house chores and take care of their children. But there are going to be times which we do not really pray for. But when those times come, those times where you really need the help, where you feel like you want to do your responsibilities, but you're encountering such hardships at that moment, it's okay for your wife to, support you. Yes, so it takes, like I said earlier, sensitization on both parties to understand that it's okay to do it. Yes, there are rules that people have made up and say, okay, you're not supposed to support your husband or your boyfriend as a girl in a relationship. But then I understand too at some point that it takes past experiences to not want to put you in such places. I know everybody has same and equal mindset towards such. You can do that for a man, and then at the end of the day, he's dumping you and he's moving on with I think I saw a post sometime that I read that a lady that even suffers with me while I'm broke, I will still dump her because I wouldn't even suffer with myself as a broke man.
Wow.
Yes, so the guy said that. So yes, there are people with such mindset. Well, there are some guys who really would appreciate that support you give to them. And upbringing, the environment you find yourself, if it was something that was practiced at home, the genuineness around that would definitely encourage you to doing such. But if you were taught in a way that maybe they had such wrong narratives towards that, it wouldn't even motivate you to doing it. So I think these are like the factors around that. But at the end of the day, we should really unlearn those things, work on our perspective towards such, and always, have the mindset of gratitude towards such. Yes.
All right. We hear about this narrative like women supporting women. Then when they don't support each other, it leads to now women, they do women.
Yeah.
So do you think we actually support ourselves very well, like enough?
The truth is, I don't want to sugarcoat it. Regardless of being a women empowerment and leadership advocate, I'm supposed to speak, for women. But what is black? I'll tell you, that's a spade, right? So yes, majority of the problems we're facing, and even when we strive to make changes there, we see that we actually create the issues for ourselves. There's so many people telling you, okay, we want a female leader, we want this. But how many of the women will be willing to support a woman who has come out for such positions? None. So even if when there's competence there, you see that young women still find one or two things to ensure that a woman doesn't just go on, that sense. Yes. And aside leadership itself, other things, we're talking about equal pay, we talk about so many other things that are happening and are relevant in the society. You see that women still has a, okay, fine. I saw a post still on Instagram, and the boss had given a car to the lady for being the employee of the month. And I read the comments under that post on Instablog. We're entitled to our opinion, right? So majority of the comments were negative. And then people that were really bashing the lady and saying, is it really your boss, or there's something happening, okay, she's serving her boss the other way, were women. And then somebody then said on that comment section that turn the tables around and let this car be given to a guy. You see how they worship the boss and say, oh yes, maybe the employer was had done well, or the guy who had received the car did very well that previous month and he deserves it. So yes, majority of the problems that we're facing is actually caused by ourselves, women. And even when we try to make change in a society towards certain things that we're facing, you see women trying to shut us up. You see women saying, why should you be in such situations? And there's so many other narratives that they talk about too.
All right, so we should do more in supporting ourselves.
Exactly.
Right? Okay. Still on the relation, let's go back to the relationship aspect.
Okay.
When a guy gifts a lady, like giving her gifts, taking her out, buying expensive things for her, is it necessary that she needs to satisfy his sexual urge?
Definitely not.
Okay.
I don't think gifts are should always have this vice versa thing.
It has the vice versa thing.
It does rather, and I don't think it should be so. Okay. If I give you, you should receive and have a heart of gratitude. Not necessarily because you want to pay me back, or I should pay back, with my body or something more. So I don't think it should be so. And this is part of the things that we experience in modern day century. Yes, we shouldn't be able to do that. I don't think young women should not. It's not a thing of thinking. Young women should not pay with their bodies for gifts that they receive. Likewise, the male gender too. Yeah.
So you should be willing if you want to give
exactly. You should be willing.
All right. So finally, we won't leave here without you advising those people that has this low self-esteem, that they're also in a competition with their fellow gender, because you're looking at these are Gen Z ladies, they're always in a competition trying to meet up with their fellow girls. So what do you have to say to them, your advice to them?
So there's this very popular quote Tata once used, and she said, be you, every other person is taking. And that is the absolute truth, because being authentic saves you from a lot of issues where you have to degrade yourself and not believe in your ability to do certain things. So discover who you are, find your true potentials, your gifts, and know your purpose that you're here on earth to do, and walk in that light. Believe in yourself. The very first person that can believe in you and to motivate you remains you. So pick up yourself, whether you've been experiencing low self-esteem or self-doubt, and keep striving for the better version of yourself. You have to keep growing and keep learning, because the journey to self-discovery is unending. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So thank you once again for coming to the show and sharing your insights with us. So guys, this is where we come to the end of today's show. We won't leave here without our guest sharing her social media handles so you guys can check her out, please.
On Facebook, you can connect with me, Augustina Augustine, on Instagram at _Augustina, and on Gmail, you can leave a mail at augustinastable@gmail.com. Thank you.
All right, so guys, you've heard from her. You should also try to check her out on her social media platform. I also urge you all to reflect on all we have discussed here today, and don't forget, to each and every one of the ladies out there, try to maintain your stizo, and your composure should be 100%. Until next time, I remain your host, Bliss. Bye guys.